Hi, I'm Parker. I'm a filmmaker and technologist and also the founding designer of Sequence. Since 2021, Sequence has been building the next generation of video production tools. In that time, we've developed all these awesome core technologies that are pushing the bar, not just on how media processing and manipulation can happen on the web, but also in the way that creators interact with the tools they use to make their projects. In May of 2023, we decided it was time to put all of that new technology to the test. We set out to create a cinematic movie trailer for the alpha testing phase of Sequence. This was the first time everything was really clicking on the product. And so it was also the first time that we could use this as a large-scale real-world production test. And it's now given birth to something that we're calling the Sequence method. The Sequence method was inspired by various different concepts and tons of smart people throughout the history of film, but in a nutshell, it aims to break down the silos of pre-production, production, and post-production, and instead align projects around a single source of truth, the timeline. You see, a timeline is the ultimate prototype and end deliverable of a film. It's a way to test out how the film actually plays out over time with sound and image. You can breathe life into your storyboards. You can improve pieces of the film bit by bit at this fine level of detail instead of in giant chunks. And most importantly, you can hit play at any time and actually know what it feels like to watch the film as it is now. Wanting to put this theory into practice, we started the trailer right in the timeline by using a bunch of placeholder images made in Figma and an AI-generated voiceover, so we could start mapping out the overall structure and timing of how we wanted the piece to play out. And it's good that we did this prep work, because around this time, we found out that we needed to kick this project into high gear because A, the month-long schedule we originally gave ourselves needed to be compressed down to 5 days, and B, our CEO, Lucas, one of the main people working on this video, would be traveling internationally for much of those 5 days.
Surprise, motherfucker!
So it's time to split up the work and move fast. And this is all such new stuff here at Sequence, so we don't have any type of library of clips of people using Sequence. And so we started, frantically hitting up friends to see if they could pretend to be editors for us. Thank you. Take the time to make a bunch of dope screen recordings of all these beautiful parts of the app. And for me, I had to face a deep-seated fear of motion graphics because we needed fancy animations. People love their fancy animations. As each of these pieces finished up, we just dropped them into the timeline where they were supposed to go according to the structure that we laid out. And so the project became this blurry, continuous cycle of refinement and review. And yet somehow before we knew it, we actually had a pretty solid draft within 3 days. And so obviously that meant we had to push this collaboration thingamabob further. We invited friends and investors of Sequence to come check out the product, to leave feedback on the edit. And when it came time to hire a voiceover artist to lock down the script that we had previously prototyped with AI, we could even invite her directly to the project, where she got an understanding of the script and the tone and the pacing, and then just dropped her recording in the timeline for us to use immediately. Anyways, we don't need to talk too much about what the outcome of the trailer was actually like, since I want this video to be about the process. But, generally speaking, for us, it was a pretty big success. But most importantly for our team, it showed that we're really onto something here, both in terms of the technology that powers Sequence and also the theory behind Sequence. The best way to understand how to make these types of complex, innovative, creative tools is to put them to work on real projects as soon as possible. And this project already has the team's head spinning with ideas about how to make the next experience of doing this 100 times better. This conversation is something we want to be having with you, too, the next generation of video professionals. Sequence is meant to be a powerhouse for all types of video projects and all types of creators, and we hope we can collaborate with you to put it to the test on really interesting work and use it to turn Sequence into a remarkable video tool. If that interests you, please sign up at www.sequence.film, and until next time, see you in the timeline.